Okay, record.
He is muted. Can we unmute him?
We can ask him to unmute.
Okay, can you ask him to unmute? And I see Brian came on.
Ta-da.
Hello.
Oh, there's another bearded wonder. Okay. All right, gentlemen. We've already had prayer, so let's try to make hay while the sun is shining, because we don't know how stable this connection is going to be. First of all, just an update since the last meeting we had was via email, and in that meeting a couple items transpired. One was a report on the hurricane damage that we incurred, and the fact that we did get a settlement from the insurance company on that damage. And as a consequence, we have replaced the cabinets in the 2 back classrooms, along with the sink in the back classroom and the carpeting in the whole of the downstairs. So what started as a major issue turned out to be a blessing in disguise. And again, we have addressed the issues where the water was coming in, and in the last several very heavy rainstorms, we haven't had any issues. Are there any questions about that?
Nope.
Okay. We did get from the insurance company about $17,000, and I think we've spent 9 or 10 of that 17 to do the things that we've done so far. One of the reasons for the larger settlement was the fact that they gave us credit for all the work that our volunteers did in the cleanup, and we can be very thankful for that. And we have already determined that any excess is going to be set aside toward the construction of a shed in the backyard of the rectory. All right. Has everybody received and read my report to the congregation?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Are there any questions?
Yes.
Who's yes?
Me, Craig.
Okay, Craig.
There were just a few things mentioned in your report. I want to make sure I understand. I guess the first thing is we're setting up a separate health insurance fund than what has been established already?
No. There is under IRS regulate. Are you talking about the Section 105?
Yeah, the way you read it, it sounded like we were setting up a second health insurance fund.
No, it's we already have. We have in the general fund budget, not in the budget, but in Greg's reports, we have a fund where contributions are made toward health insurance.
Yep.
Those contributions are largely made to offset the expense for my health insurance that the daycare was incurring, especially since I have gone on Medicare and am no longer a part of the individual or of the group. So now my health care is being funded through an HRA Section 105. If you know what, are you familiar with that?
Yeah, I'm familiar with that. So on our I guess financial statements, the amount in that health insurance fund is really to support your health insurance expenses not covered by Medicare. Is that right?
Pretty much, yeah. The money in there gets transferred to the daycare benefits package, and out of that benefits package, my health insurance is covered for Medicare and the supplement and things like that.
Okay, and then it seemed like in your letter you were saying that currently what we have is not sufficient.
Well, uh, it's not insufficient, but expenses for Medicare and the supplements and everything keep going up.
Right. I mean, the 105 plan, you're limited on what you can receive, right?
Yeah, we established that limit, and right now I'm fine with it. I actually have the 105 document sitting on my desk that Greg or one of you guys needs to sign, but it's
It's like $250, right? Is what you,
no, it's actually, it can be substantially more than that on an annual basis.
okay, well, you know, I guess one thing, if this isn't sufficient, why don't we include something in the budget to help supplement what is being contributed?
Well, I don't see a problem with that, but what I would recommend is let's see how it works out, and maybe we can revisit it at a later meeting.
Okay.
Because
well, I mean, the budget has to get approved.
yeah, okay. Well, we could put a line item in there, but people have been contributing to that fund.
Yeah, my comment only comes from the sufficiency. In your letter, it sounded as though it helped, but it wasn't really sufficient. So I'm just trying to address that.
Any shortfalls are addressed in a couple of different ways. One is that my health insurance was always funded through the daycare center. So it was an expense that was provided, a benefit that was provided to me in part in return for my my service to the daycare center as the director.
Mm-hmm.
And just in the last couple of years, I've been trying to lower that expense to the daycare for a number of reasons, not the least of which it's an expense item. So I think we're okay for the time being, as I've looked at the numbers right now, but only time will tell.
Okay. And then John, just so I fully understand, the PPP loan program, what do we have to demonstrate to get forgiveness of the PPP loan?
Pretty much we have to demonstrate that we used all of the money from the PPP loan for wages and other overhead expenses. That's
so
not
there's
gonna,
really no reason to think that we're not going to have this loan forgiven.
no, as a matter of fact, I have on my desk right now a letter from QuickBooks stating that the new law, the new PPP law, calls for a simpler loan forgiveness application for PPP loans of 150,000 or less, which is us.
Mm-hmm.
And that they're building out that online forgiveness application right now.
Is that for the first program too?
That's for the first program. And
Okay.
as part of their build out, it will include the ability to apply for a second loan.
Okay. And what about these grants? What's that? We have to pay those back?
No, they're grants. They're
Is that from the state?
the state of Pennsylvania and Delaware County authorized, I believe it's a total of 4 grants that I was able to secure over the course of the year. And where's my, you're referring to the daycare report right now, and also to my report.
Yeah, this is all wrapped in your report.
Yeah.
That's where this is coming from.
Right, I show it on.
But that's fine. If it's a state grant, and it's a grant, there's no obligation. That's good.
We were able to get, it's part of what's called the CARES Act. And we were able to secure $48,500 for the daycare center for the purpose of maintaining staffing, so that the state is concerned that there be daycare workers available when everybody goes back to work.
Mhm. Okay,
Yeah,
that's good. And
that
then
was that was one of the side effects of COVID. I actually secured one of the grants while I was quarantined.
good thing you didn't have a bad headache. like I
Yeah.
had. And then the one other thing, the missionary support that's being provided to Greg, is that actually coming out of reducing the investment account? I didn't think that was the case.
No, there's two items. One is the general fund missionary support, which
Yeah,
we've always done to the tune of about $13,800.
yeah,
And then I believe it was 3 years ago, we authorized a special draw from the portfolio when Greg was laid off by the seminary.
yeah.
To make up the difference, we authorized a draw from the investment portfolio to support him.
Okay, well, maybe, I don't have any problem with that. I just, maybe when we show the investment portfolio, when we show the beginning balance, maybe we can break it out a little more, show the draw from and the increase in the unrealized to come up with the ending balance.
Yeah, we've actually finished every year. I think we finished in the black. The portfolio has grown substantially, so.
Yeah, that, it's not an issue. It's just it'd be better, just a better illustration. Because I forgot about that. And
Okay.
Coming out of it's been coming out of the portfolio increase. It hasn't even touched the original portfolio.
yeah, I understand that. All I'm
Okay.
saying is when you show the beginning balance, show the draw, show the increase in the portfolio, and show the ending balance, just so
Okay.
we have a little bit of a breakdown there.
We can do that. I guess that's just simply a matter of adding a line. Are you
Yep, or
you
two
okay with
lines.
that, Greg?
2 lines.
I'll figure that out.
Okay. All right. Any other questions with respect to my report to the congregation?
No.
Okay. All right. Then moving on, the next item would be, I included in the packet of information that was sent, vestry terms. Did everybody get that?
Mhm.
Yep.
And if you look at those, I've already talked to Craig about serving again as senior warden in 2021. I didn't give Greg a choice. I just presumed upon him.
There we go.
I don't see Demetrius on the call. Is he on, Greg?
I've got a phone number here. I don't know who that is.
Okay, that may be him. But anyway, we
I've
have,
got 610-639-7302. Anybody know who that is?
That's Ralph.
okay, Ralph.
Okay.
All right, so as it looks right now, for 2021, Demetrius has been on sabbatical for the last year. He's due to be elected again.
Can you see it now
Yes,
on
Yeah.
screen?
yes, thank you.
Yeah. Farrell is he's run through his first term and is scheduled to be reelected. Everybody else is status quo except Michael Cook and Mike Barber, who are scheduled to go off for a year. Is anyone else unwilling or unable to serve? Farrell, will you stand to be reelected?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Thank
you
you.
better, because I'm not giving you a choice. All right, that's informational unless there's an action, and that'll go into the congregational agenda. You have also in the packet just information about my vacation schedule. I intended to take a substantial amount of time off in August and September, and once again, that didn't happen. So I tacked a couple weeks onto my COVID experience and one more at the end of the year. So I have now come to the point where I've accumulated 46 weeks.
Yeah, my concern is how are we going to fund this?
Oh,
Or
When
are
I
you just not going to show up for a year?
I'm
We're going to keep paying his salary.
You know, Dr. John is almost becoming a city employee.
almost
I mean, I
becoming a-
think we really have to start thinking about how this is going to be funded.
Well, we'll think about it. At this point, years ago, I remember the vestry decided we'd rather you accumulate it than pay you for it. And that's been the premise upon which we've been operating.
Do we want to put aside just a fund that we can just designate for that, just so that if we need to, if that expense comes up, it's not going to shock any system?
There is already in the portfolio a fund that was established by Myrtle Miller in her will that provides for at least health insurance payments for my wife and myself when we retire. And we could do something along that line. Frankly, what I would say is if and when I retire, I'm not real worried about it. But if something happens to me, take care of my wife.
Well, I mean, we owe this to you. I mean, bottom line, it's coming out of the portfolio. Because I don't think we can fund this currently through the budget, and the only other assets we have is in the portfolio. And we just can't forgive it. I mean,
Right.
No.
Well, either that or Farrell does free sermons for a year.
I say, you give the man his due, and I do free sermons for a year.
Okay. All
so I
right.
think we just need to know that, right? That's really going to be an obligation coming out of the portfolio.
Right. And when the time comes, which is sooner now rather than later, we'll have to adopt a plan. The great thing is that barring some sort of economic disaster nationwide, the portfolio's in better shape to do things than it ever has been. But
Maybe the type of situation where we consider as a vestry period, like some sort of period certain annuity type situation, kind of stretch out the obligation over an extended period of time, but kind of lower the week-to-week financial burden.
Too many fees with annuities.
No, I don't mean an actual annuity, but like just an
I mean,
annuity.
the bottom line is we have the resources. It's just going to be coming out of the portfolio.
Right, and when I say annuity, I just mean a prolonged payment directly to him out of the portfolio.
And John, I don't think I was ever in agreement with rolling forward to vacation. I mean, I'm glad. I mean, I would be okay to pay it out now. It's helpful to you.
No, it's
Because usually you can't roll over vacation up to a certain amount
right.
in normal circumstances. So.
That was a decision that was actually made before you were on the vestry, Craig.
Mm-hmm.
That goes back decades.
Mm-hmm. I've been on the vestry decades.
I know, but I'm going on 4 decades.
I pardon me, Dr. John, but I take Mr. Keller's point. I would like to see, this, who knows what, I don't know, but I would like to see just us having it as a line saying we will pay this out of portfolio. So it's just so that if a future, we're not going to be quibbling about it's eliminated.
All right, let me think about it, and I will get back to you. But my inclination right now is to say that our situation, thank the Lord, is a good one, and I'm not looking to do anything other than just to keep track of things so nobody can say to me, oh, you took more vacation time than you were due.
Mhm.
I don't think you have to worry about that.
No. All right. Well, I might come down and spend a couple months with you, Craig, in the wintertime.
I told you, you're always welcome.
Yeah, and you know why I'm not there right now. All right, with respect to the daycare center, we took 3 outside sources of income, and you should have that report in front of you.
Yep.
There's a mistake on it down in the middle after the line ending balance. There's 2 lines in the left-hand column that should not be there. They were carryovers from last year. Early on, when the pandemic started, in order to make payroll, the daycare borrowed $20,000 from the church. We still have that money in our account. It kind of forms the cushion against which everything else is operating. In 2019, our revenue from childcare fees was $412,000. In 2020, it dropped to $255,000. And what started out in 2020 as a very good year wound up pretty bad. But at least at this point, we're still fluid. With the 20,000 in the account, we have a total in the bank account at the end of December of $29,779. We had a net difference of childcare fees between the 2 years of 166,000, or excuse me, 156,000. We received 166,000. So we're still, we're solvent at this point, and I expect that we will need another PPP loan to get back to the point where we're kind of at a break even. But at the same point in time, we have seen interest creeping up. And I did run just so you have kind of the numbers in front of you. In the first quarter, we did 102,000 plus in childcare fees. The second quarter, it dropped to 43.5. In the third quarter, it crept up to 51. And in the fourth quarter, it was almost 58. So it's gradually creeping up, and we do have additional indication of people who want to enroll.
Do we have a
So
projection, John? I mean, how much are we going to be short?
in 2021,
Yeah.
Craig, there's just no way of knowing. I mean, if the vaccines work and people get back to work, they're going to be looking for daycare centers. There's probably going to be more demand because some programs have already closed and we didn't. The one thing we know already, and it's the byproduct of quarantine, is there's more demand for the infant room. During quarantine, I guess people have been busy making babies. Huh?
There's nothing to do.
There's nothing to do, right? So they've been making babies.
So John, let me just ask you this. We have 29,000. But are we going to be able to make it through the first couple months, or?
Oh yeah. I expect that we're probably good until April at this point. If the PPP comes in before then, then we'll be in good shape right until September.
How much are we applying for?
We don't know yet. I haven't seen the application. The new application is different than the old one because it's based on year-over-year quarter differences. So
last year was only supposed to be 3 months.
right. Well, last year it was technically supposed to cover 8 weeks of salary and expenses, and then they boosted it out to 6 months. And now the shut-off period for applying the expenses against the loan ended December 31st, but I haven't seen the application yet for forgiveness. And we have to file that application through QuickBooks because they're the company through which we got the loan. So we're kind of stuck waiting on them. But in answer to your question, Craig, I think in the long run, we're going to be okay. As long as, at some point we may have to come back to the vestry for another boost, but I don't anticipate that at this time.
We're still holding that 20 grand as a loan and not as a grant. Is that correct?
Well, to turn it into a grant would take vestry action.
Right.
And right now we're carrying it as an interest-free loan.
Good.
Do we need to look at establishing a plan if that PPP does not come in before April?
Well, at this point, I don't see us needing it before April because we do have, as I say, the revenues have been ticking up. I don't have information for January yet. It's still too early, but it looks like we're getting back more toward the point of break even. And we have had some cost cutting activities. We had one employee who left, not because we laid her off or anything, but she found a better job. So that expense is going down. I have another one who wants to go part-time, and she's the most expensive employee we have because she's 64 years old and her health insurance premiums are through the roof. So I just talked to her today. So
Are we paying anybody under $15 an hour?
yeah, we are, everybody.
Because that might change with Biden's new proposal.
I'm hopeful. Right now, everything I've seen is that the federal minimum wage is still somewhere around $7.75.
Seven something, yep.
And I'm hopeful that if they do implement an increase, that it will be incremental rather than all at once. I mean, if it comes in all at once, then the plan would have to be to say to the staff, we're not paying for your health insurance anymore, and go find it on the exchange. And to the parents, we have to increase fees. I hope they're not foolish enough to do it.
Oh, yeah.
But then
They're going to do it.
They'll do it.
But then
They're going to
again,
do it day one.
What they really want you to do is lay off your employees so the government can support them.
exactly. I think that's what they're driving at. They're trying to make it too expensive for employers to carry the full burden of it. For small businesses to carry the employees, they're trying to put a lot of small businesses out of business.
Have you seen anything with our nonprofits sort of exempt from this, or have you seen anything along those lines?
There's been stuff floating all over the place, but they haven't released any plans.
Mm-hmm.
It'll come
So-
out tomorrow. His first day in office, you can bet there's going to be a list.
That'll be
Well,
the
I don't-
first executive order he signs.
Yep,
I
it's
don't-
in there.
I don't think he made Bernie the secretary of the Interior yet, so, or whatever it was he was opting for.
Budget.
Budget. But at this point,
So you think we're going to be okay at least through April with the resources we have?
I don't see us not being okay.
Okay.
That's, you know, it's,
I know it's hard to say, but from what you know,
yeah,
looks like
we're holding our own, and I'm hopeful that, you know, some of the calls we've been getting actually turn into enrollment, because people are calling and indicating that once they get the vaccine, they have to go back to work, and then they're going to need childcare.
Mhm.
So, all right, any other?
Is there any movement to get the vaccine to childcare attendants, to our staff?
We are listed as Group 1B.
Woohoo!
They're dealing right now with Group 1A,
Yep.
which are the first line providers. Although John Unger told me the other day that he got it through the VA.
Hmm.
We're not requiring, are we requiring?
No,
No, all right, good.
I think everybody I've talked to is anxious to get it.
Mm-hmm.
We have 3 workers that have already had it.
Mm-hmm.
Myself, Janice Roberts, and Dottie.
You got it even though you had COVID?
Not the vaccine, the COVID.
Oh,
So
oh, okay.
no, the vaccine has not yet been made available. They told us we're in the next group, but they haven't told us where we would go to get it. And I had to call the pharmacy today to get a prescription refilled. And the first line on there is, "We do not have the COVID vaccine." So who knows where it's going to come from or when.
Just so everyone's aware, the movie I Am Legend, which revolves around zombies created by a vaccine, was set in 2019, and Mad Max was set in 2020. So putting that out there for the minutes.
You're just a veritable fount of
Hence all
hopeful.
the beards.
Right. Okay. Any other questions about the daycare? I don't have any recommendations at this point, other than to stay loose.
We, I did see something about the daycare website. We haven't done much with that lately. And that often helps us in recruiting.
Right. Well, that's way above my pay grade. So, and if you can, find out wherever it is that people are getting my personal email address to apply for daycare, because I keep getting inquiries and I have to bump them forward to Vicky. But
You mean
In any
St.
event.
Matt's?
yeah,
Okay, I don't think that's on the daycare site.
well, it's on some site out there. But,
You're listed for the Zoom services, but that's it.
Okay. All right, that brings us to the, is there any further discussion of anything?
Nope.
All right, that brings us to the financial report. And for that, we have to turn to Mr. Wright.
Okay, let me find it.
You don't need to go into great detail, just hit the highlights.
All right, here's the highlights.
Everybody okay with this, or does people need explanation? Or?
Have you seen this page? Should have been sent in the original email for the Vestry meeting.
Yes.
Okay. This is the income chunk and the expense chunk, all for the general fund, which is up here. Beginning balance of 44 grand at the beginning of 2020. Ending balance of 52,000. So we're up about 8. And if you look at the columns here, that all came in December. December's our banner year. The building fund here started at 47, almost 48, and its current balance is 51. We had income of 20,000 in building fund and expense of 16. And there is a page on some of those major building fund projects. I'll get to that in a minute. Still have $300 in the missions fund. That's usually what the vestry disperses at the end of the year. These are the other funds that John was talking about. Here's the health insurance fund, and that supplements what we have already in the salaries. Here's what we call the Ministry Internship and Seminary Study Fund. That was set up several years ago to help different people, not one in particular, but several people pursue seminary studies. We have a Miller Sign Fund, which was refreshed with Myrtle Miller money. And we have an old fund called the Stevenson Stained Glass Fund, which just sits there and helps us refurbish the stained glass. And then some other things which we had done and closed, we kind of folded into an other category. So we got 1139 in that category. This next section here is where I run all those designated gifts through. So beginning balance is 0. And at the end of the year, we have an ending balance. The detail on what those things are is down here. We voted off budget to put 2,000 to the Cuba, a donation to Cuba. We loaned 20,000 to the daycare in April. And then we matched the Amnion gift with 1,719. So that's what this net is. We usually just take that out of the portfolio we take that out of general fund at the end of the year to zero it out again. Those are all off budget general fund stuff. Next one is the DuPont People in Need. We've had a thing in the past from DuPont. They haven't been giving to us like that anymore, but we still have the fund. So we had 5,900 in it. We had 2,500 in income and 5,400 in expenses. So our current balance in that fund is 3,000.
Greg, I think you could take the word DuPont off of that.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be a good idea now.
Because there's no DuPont money left there.
Yep. All right. Okay. And then the rest of the stuff is in different parts of the investment portfolio. So this is the beginning balance and then the current balance of what we call the unrestricted section. And then down here we have some designated investments. We have the Ivy Rock House Fund. That was the house that was given to us that Dottie's living in right now as caretaker. And on this line, if it seems a little confusing, this is the beginning balance for the year. This is the ending balance, but then these are adjustments because we've been keeping this in the investment portfolio. So we have some money that fund owes to the checking account, transfer to checking right here. So the adjusted balance is right there. And then the last one we have, John referred to already, the Rector's Retirement Health Insurance Fund. It had that much in it before at the beginning of the year. It has that much in it right now, 137,000. Okay, so a quickie balance sheet looks like this. Here's the assets. We have just a total guess at property and fixtures down here, but the rest of them are either bank or investment numbers. And then over here, liabilities. And these are all to Looney Hoffman, which we don't have to pay back. The old church fund, the rectory, and the renovations that we just did a couple of years ago. Any questions on this page?
Nope.
Nope.
Okay. Page 2 is a corner of my monthly spreadsheet. And the only point in this page is to draw your attention to these two columns here. This is general fund expense. This column is the budget that we set for 2020. This column is the actual money that we spent in those categories. So the budget was 205,300. Total we spent this year out of general fund, 195,867.64. Okay, so we are under by pretty much close to 10,000. And a lot of that was stuff like the operations admin was 2.5 shy. Music program barely broke 1,000. Special events, that was all the dinners and stuff that we missed. So each of those add up to about 10,000 below. Notice that the salaries up here, 130,000, that we paid. We paid all the salaries for the year.
Whose $2 is that?
Does anybody have any questions about the actual expenses versus the budget for 2020?
Justin wants to know where the $2 went.
$2, yeah, that was some sort of a rounding thing, I think.
That's your VIG. All right. Okay. Are there any questions about the treasurer's report?
Well, I got a couple more pages.
I think those are detail that we really don't need to
Okay.
deal with right now. We can touch on those at the congregational meeting. We have not completed the split system repair out of the building fund. But I think the thing to note is that our budget for 2020 was what, 23.5?
205, 300.
205, 300.
For general fund, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the actual giving was 203. So we were about $2,000 short of our target.
Yeah. Actual giving was 203.6.
Okay. All right. All right.
So in terms of income versus expense, we did all right. In terms of income versus budget, we were a little short, yes.
Okay. All right. Well, at this point, are there any other questions with respect to the treasurer's report?
Except with thanks.
Okay, there's a motion that the report be accepted with thanks.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. I'm pressing forward here, guys, because I promised Craig that we'd be done by 8:30 so he can get to a dinner date.
Late dinners.
Yeah. I mean, I can cut out. I don't want to cut anybody short, but I'll just sign off.
We're good. We're good. Okay. That brings us then to the budget. Are there any, you see the budget items, the projected budget for
Lost you, John. John, you there?
We have a Walt Disney.
We lost John. He was saying, here is the 20 actual payments, here's the 20 budget, and here is our proposed 2021 budget. Does anybody need us to go through this? We took the number from 2020 of 203.5 and made that sort of our target for our budget right here. So we have about a 1.3% total. Looks like we lost John completely. He's probably kind of come in now. Okay. So up here in salaries, we've got about a 1.3% increase, which is the COLA for 2021. And that's like a 1% increase for the pastor and about a 2% increase for the staff. Then the rest of these things, the big one that increased, which drove everything else, was we have a large increase in our insurance bill for next year. John told me it was close to about 19% for next year, the church liability insurance. So that was basically, we plugged that number in and everything else had to work out that way.
Was that from the claims experience this year, or was that just some sort of an adjustment for the overall risk?
Well, aside from all the COVID mess and their concern about the liability for, you know, who gets COVID in our facility or all that kind of junk, we also had that storm in August, which meant we had to make a claim on our insurance. So that probably knocked things up too. Now, this is the first year that I can remember that we're actually setting the diocesan tithe down. We were at 21,000 last year for diocesan tithe. We only put out 19,600. So I'm budgeting 20,000 as diocesan tithe, which is a decrease. In operations and admin, that's where we pay for things like diocesan council. Justin, can you make sure John gets unmuted? He just joined us again.
Done.
Okay. John, you there now?
Yeah, I'm here. Windows stopped working.
Yeah, I figured. I heard you drop out, so I started explaining the budget.
Okay.
I'm working through the categories in this section here now. Can you see that?
Yep.
Okay. Operations and admin is where we pay for the regular operations of the church, plus things like diocesan council and general council. And right now, we have a general council scheduled for the middle of this year. So 2018, we were at 7,000, 19, we're at 7,000. We bumped it up in 2020 because we thought there was going to be a general council, but it didn't happen. So that's why this number was pretty low. But we're keeping this number pretty high because there's a general council this year and we're expecting to go to it.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
That's up in the air, actually.
Yeah. Are you on that committee, Craig?
Sustentation committee, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
There's a call, I think, next week to determine what to do.
Yeah. We reported less than half of people are willing to go to a physical council for the diocese.
Yeah, they may have to do it by Zoom,
Yep.
which will be a challenge.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. And the rest of this stuff just kind of, I fiddled with numbers until I got the bottom line total that I wanted. John, did you want to say any comments? I already talked about the salary up here and the insurance part here.
I'm good with the budget as presented. Does anybody else have any questions?
Except with thanks.
All right.
Good work, Greg.
Yes.
Okay. I'm taking what Craig just said as a motion to adopt the budget. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Okay, we're going to shoot for a general congregational meeting the last Sunday of this month. And that will be, as we are doing the worship services, it will also be a joint in-presence and Zoom congregational meeting. We'll just do it right after church. And the people who are there and want to stay can, and the people who want to Zoom in can do that as well. Is that okay with everybody?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. All in all, I think we should be thankful for God's blessing in the course of a very difficult year. We certainly ended the year far better than I had expected that we would. And also, one of the hidden benefits of COVID is we have a number of people who are worshiping with us, both in person and via Zoom, who were not worshiping with us prior to the pandemic. And so for the Zoom aspect of that, a vote of thanks should be given to Greg. We're picking up part of his wages, but at this point, he's certainly earning them.
No raises, Greg.
He keeps wanting to take a cut, and I tell him we can't let him do that. If we give him a cut, that would be a backdoor out.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other items that we have not discussed? Is there any new business?
On the last year's report, we still had some money left in the missions fund.
Okay. Do you have a recommendation?
320.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember what we did last year. Did it go to Croatia or Cuba or something?
I think it probably got lumped in with the Cuba monies, but I can't recall for sure.
Who's the greater need, Croatia or Cuba?
Well, Croatia just had an earthquake.
Yeah, they might need it.
So that answers that.
Yeah. All right. I'll take that as a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. I would make one other note. We have about over 13,000 in the Miller Sign Fund. If need be, we don't need all of that there because we just replaced the sign and it'll probably last 20 years. So if we do need something to fall back on, we can by vestry action touch that.
We did last year. We pulled 5,000 of it out of the Miller sign. It was close to 20 originally
Right.
when she set it up. And we pulled some of that out and put it into the people in need, I think.
Okay. All right. Well, right now there's no pressing need other
Right.
than to disperse the mission fund. So Greg, you can send that to Croatia. Is there any other new business?
We did the thing about the housing allowance authorization, right?
That's just a carryover, but we should have that in the minutes, that the housing allowance authorization is continued in 2021. You got that, John?
For the,
For the rectory
I
allowance.
just need to note it.
Yeah, just
Yes.
note it.
Gotcha.
Okay. Any other new business?
Nope.
Do we need to have some sort of a fund to provide for beard softeners?
Au naturel.
This used to be a clean cut group, I'm telling you guys.
It's just not in anymore.
Right. All right. Well, I thank you all for your participation. Mr. Lee, would you close our meeting with prayer, please?
Sure. Heavenly Father, thank you for helping us sort through all the business. Thank you for Greg and for John's administration and managing all this, all the business of the daycare and helping us make it through another year through this COVID. So we just thank you for your blessings. As we go from here, we pray that you would continue to bless us and keep us safe from further illnesses, and just bless the year ahead and help us help our country, give us safety and enable us to get the COVID vaccine soon. And again, just thank you for all that you've done for us. And we ask your blessing, and all this we ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
All right, gentlemen, thank you all for your support, and I appreciate what all of you do, and we pray for you every day.
Okay.
I'm here.
Likewise.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye now.
God bless.
Mr.
All right, guys,
Keller,
take
All
care.
right.
Mr. Keller, good to see
Good night,
you.
everyone.
Enjoy your dinner, Craig.
Night. Night, Farrell.
Tell Andrew we said hello.
He's with him.
Yeah.
Hey, Mr. Abbott, good to see you, sir. Long time.
You talking to me or Joel?
No, you are the doctor.
Yeah.
John,
Good to
who
see you,
might
man.
want who might want the recording?
Well, Austin wasn't on. Who wasn't on the,
Demetrius, maybe.
Demetrius might, if he wasn't on. And I
Okay.
don't know if Austin was on or not.
What I can do is transfer it to YouTube and create a private link so that only people that I send it to can see it.
Okay, why don't you do that? I
Okay.
originally wanted you to record it because John wasn't on when we started the meeting right away.
Right.
But, and that would be a way of having minutes. But,
Okay.
but as it is right now, yeah, you can do that, and then we can send it to,
John, I'll send you the link too so you can check your minutes.
I think, is he still on?
Yep, he's there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, while you're still on there, John, how's the family doing?
It's been a long haul. You
Yeah.
know, it's my dad was hospitalized for almost 2 months. It was excruciating and ended Well, as you said, for Christians, death is the perfect healer.
Mhm.
So we're thankful for that. But he's 92 years old. He was
Right.
always there. He always had a smile on his face, and gladly he was always faithful to Christ. He always named the name of the Lord,
Good.
and my mother does too. But our we're very strict protocols. I mean, I haven't hugged my mother. That's how tight we're keeping it. So, I mean, we'll be together. We've been together, clearly. We'll be together again on Saturday. They'll come for dinner, but we'll be in different rooms. So we're on really, really strict protocols, and it's, it's just very unsatisfying and
Yeah.
frustrating.
Yeah,
Have they got the vaccination yet?
Joan has had both. She's had 2 courses. My mother's facility in Maris Grove was scheduling people for it, but I don't know exactly when that's going to occur.
Good.
So we'll see.
And those of us who have had it, they're telling us we're safe for a little while, but they don't know how long.
And you see regular reports of people getting it for the second time, and what they don't know is amazing, and what they don't know about these new strains of it is a little creepy too.
Right. I think I'm wondering if a lot of the people who got it for the second time had false positives on their first test. We just don't know. When I talked to the CDC guy after my bout with it, and they did the contact tracing, he told me, if you get tested again and it comes up positive, ignore it, because it's a false positive. So at this point, I think what we're doing is to exercise caution and common sense, and that's the best you can do. The amazing thing is my wife didn't get it, and she was probably washed in it between myself and my aunt. But then again, in the 38 years we've been married, I don't think she's been sick for 2 weeks the whole time. So I guess it all depends on.
That South Virginia blood.
Yep. So, all right. Well, everybody be careful. If you're able to make in person on the, what is it? The 29th is the last Sunday, Greg?
31st.
The 31st. If you're able to make in person on the 31st, fine. If not, the vestry should please Zoom in so we can all show our bearded faces. Myself,
I might even do a braid that morning.
you do that, and you will wake up one morning with half a beard. All
On my good
right.
side.
Yeah. Which side is your most photogenic?
It's a race to the bottom.
Yep. All right. I like your background, Joel.
Thank you. It's my company logo.
Oh.
It's a griffin.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Okay.
It's
All right.
a virtual logo? It's a virtual background?
Yeah. If I like make a small enough gap, you can kind of get a little shot between.
Yeah.
Kind of get little glimpses into the wall behind me.
All right. Everybody, thank you, and have a great night.
Good night, everyone.
Good
All
to
right.
see you, sir.
See y'all.
All right.
Yes.
See ya.
Give my
See you,
warmest, Mr. Brower.
Will do.
All right.
Take care.
Yeah.
All right, John. Our prayers continue for you guys.
Thanks.
And if
Thanks.
there's if there's anything we can do, let us know. But
No, prayer is perfect.
And
Thank
at this
you.
point, really, it's more about just time than anything.
Yeah. Whoa.
All right. I'm checking out, guys. I got to go eat dinner.
Oh.
All right, everybody. See you.
Bye-bye.
Good night, everyone.
Mr. Wallace? Yes, sir. I hope